Hello everyone, welcome back to Allcarnews, and we are here today with a behemoth of a very updated SUV, this all-new GMC Yukon Denali Ultimate, and this thing is a monster. We have these absolutely massive wheels on this updated truck, updated design on the front and rear ends. We have these really nice, slightly reshaped taillights as well, quad exhaust tips on this Denali Ultimate trim. You see this really cool sequential pattern on there as well. Really nice interior. You can only get one interior color on this Denali Ultimate trim. This really nice dark kind of mocha interior with this baseball stitching. We have the upgraded weather floor mats here. Really cool Denali patterns everywhere in this interior, and this Bose Performance Series audio speakers in here. Hopping inside, all new interior as well. So this is a really bold new look for the Yukon. It's powered up with a huge start-stop switch here. The 6.2 liter V8 comes to life. Here's some air suspension puffs in there, and let's head off on a drive here. We have our new gear selector here as well, popping it into drive. Let's head off here. Really smooth shifts from this transmission. Of course, we all are familiar with the 6.2 liter V8. So what's new with this truck? Well, you know, this is a totally new interior. As you can see, all new, massive display here. And of course, we can see we have Apple CarPlay. We can make it pretty big too if you do choose to have that. Fully digital cluster. We can customize. We can even put Apple Maps and Waze in this digital cluster now, which is really cool. And we also have a night vision, which I guess I can't really use on this particular time of day, but we have night vision, which pops up on there. It's thermal night vision as well, which actually shows you what's going on if there's animals or stuff coming towards you, which is kind of nice. Really great commanding drive position, as we're very familiar with the Yukon and Tahoes. As again, this is not an all-new vehicle. It is a heavy facelift, I would say. We have Super Cruise on this one as well. Obviously works really good, as we've seen in other Super Cruise systems. Brakes are pretty nice and smooth. Come to a full stop here. We do have auto stop start. Let's see if it does that here. Not in this case, probably not warm enough, but we do have the ability to turn auto stop start off if you do choose to want. So we also have a few drive modes to select from as well, air suspension modes. So we have plenty of stuff to kind of select in this truck. 4 high, 4 low. We're in 2 high right now. We have auto all-wheel drive if you want to believe in that as well. A great 360 camera system, and this one introduces side cameras. So if I turn my blinker on there, it's going to turn on the side mirror cameras for me, and you can disable that from the infotainment system if you do choose to have so. But that's a nice touch, especially going around some bigger corners, and maybe in the XL version of this car, the extended wheelbase, that could be helpful. Here's another go at that right now, which is really nice. Here's the other direction. Pretty crystal clear cameras as well. We have full massaging seats on this one, ventilated and heating. Really strong power from this V8. Of course, we're at 420-ish horsepower. And honestly, the MPG isn't too bad. I think you can get around 20, 21 MPG on the highway. Even with these 24-inch wheels, I think that's still a pretty impressive feat for this big SUV. And it is pretty expensive now in this Ultimate trim, this Denali Ultimate. We're at $109,000 of this particular one. And there's another package that this one still doesn't have, which I honestly could bring it close to 120. It's an executive rear seating package, which I don't really think you need, as this one already gets the screen standard. That just gives you a little bit more goodies back there. But yeah, this is dripped out in luxury. If you are not a fan of the Escalade's giant new screens now on the recent facelift, you might want to look at a Yukon Denali Ultimate, as it might be a great option. No shortages of power in this monstrous truck as well. I love that nice V8 rumble. It's definitely more muted than some other GM trucks that I've been in with this 6.2. It has a little more of a refined, smoother, luxurious sound to it, and this air suspension's honestly doing a great job, even with these 24-inch wheels though. Not over every single surface. You can't really hide the fact that you have these giant wheels, even with air suspension. Over some of these little broken potholes and pavements we have over here, I can definitely feel some rattling. If you are, all 4 wheels are kind of going over that same pavement, you kind of get that jittering going on with the body and frame chassis, which this is. But overall, I have to say it's really good. It's a very floaty air suspension, especially on the highway. It really feels like it's just floating and leaning like a Cadillac in that sense on the highway. highway. But you know, this thing's going to sell really, really well. We know GM trucks are some of the most popular full-size SUVs on the market, and this refreshed Yukon really is no exception. I think this is a nicer job they did on this updated refresh than they did with the Tahoe and Suburban variants. Just, I'm not a big fan of that giant curved display. This is a little bit more utilitarian, I would say. You have these nice tactile buttons down here for your climate control systems as well. You have this cool little storage cubby up here, which is felt lined for your sunglasses. And you still have that motorized center console area over here. Let's turn on those 360 cameras. Get a nice little glimpse. Really crystal clear camera system in this car. I really am a huge fan of that. Nice little go of this V8 one more time before we head out onto the highway. No shortages of power here, and of course we have that heads-up display in front of us showing us our speed. Not a very in-depth heads-up display, I would say, but you know, just overall, I just came out of the Sierra EV pickup truck, and which was a Denali, and I really didn't think it even met this level of, you know, interior quality and uniqueness. This one is getting this upgraded full grain leather, so it's definitely going to feel a little bit more supple and luxurious than that particular one. It wasn't a Denali Ultimate, for example, but I really like it in here. It smells expensive. It smells unique. It has a nice commanding presence. I love this open pore wood. The only interior piece I'm not a big fan of is the center console is a little bit cheap feeling with this plastic over here. You have a wireless charger, 2 cup holders down here, massive center console, and of course we can move that back with the touch of a button here. The whole thing will slide back and reveals another little storage cubby underneath here, which is really cool. So lots of storage solutions in the all-new Yukon, well, updated Yukon, I would say. But yeah, this is a pretty nice first impression for a drive, and let's head out on the highway and see how it does over there. Okay guys, let's head out onto the highway here in the all-new Yukon. We'll get a little bit of a more taste for that V8 acceleration sound there. Might as well pop it into the sport mode that we have available here as well. Let's see if we can get it into sport. There we go. I think that may lower the suspension, but it definitely gives us a little more revs, I would say, out of this engine and gearbox setup here. For our nice turning mirrors right there, which is quite cool. It's no Escalade V, I can tell you that, but this thing still has that awesome burbly V8 sound. I'm sure it sounds way better outside. It's incredibly muted in here. Let's throw it back into normal mode. We don't need to be in sport mode in this big truck. But out here on the highway, oh boy, this is just a wonderful, absolutely wonderful cruising SUV on the highway. It's just so comfortable over these bumps. And honestly, that, like I mentioned earlier, the MPG is still pretty good. And when you're on the highway with this particular Denali Ultimate, if you do choose to get this one, you get Super Cruise. And again, Super Cruise is one of my favorite highway driving assistance systems in terms of being hands-free. And once that signal pops up, really just press it, let it find itself and bearings, and voila, we are on Super Cruise mode. So like, yes, I can legally take my hands off the steering wheel here, set our speed. We have our following distance we can adjust here. We even get a Super Cruise style or more Super Cruise specific display on here showing our safety systems kind of all around us. So that works really well. And as we know with Super Cruise, it has automatic lane change as well as manual lane change assist. So I can just tap my indicator right here and it will move lanes around for us. I guess we'll have a demonstration for that just in a second. I'm just going to tap it here. I don't have to touch the steering wheel. I do want to look, and we have this nice nifty camera here to show us what's happening. But it's taking this curve, changing lanes all at the same time. Did it really well. Not the quickest. I would say BMW and Mini systems are the ones that have the quickest automatic lane change that I have ever seen. It actually is very confidence inspiring how it does it, because it feels very confident in itself. But this is a pretty good system as well. And it does it automatically, just like the BMW system can do as well, which is pretty cool. It feels really nice in here, the smells of the leather. And let's test out this audio system. Now, this is not the fully updated audio system that you can get in this truck. There's actually another higher end audio system that I believe is more standard and more common in Escalade trims than this truck. But let's have a little bit of go for this Bose Performance Series system and see how it sounds out here on the highway. And we have this giant, nice mute switch right there, which is really cool on the side if you want to just quickly quiet an audio. But pretty good system. It definitely feels like it's lacking some speakers, so I can see that the upgraded system would definitely improve the audio. And what I mean by that is that the sound sounds very loud in the lower level of the vehicle. If you notice up here, there are some speakers, but I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of audio pumped in from them. There's a few different settings you can adjust in your Bose adjustments there within the deeper menus of this audio system, but it really doesn't change that much. What I've noticed is just kind of adjusts the surround sound experience within the vehicle. But overall, pretty good. It has nice crystal clear audio, lots of bass. It's a really big cabin in here, so you're going to get a lot of nice sounds going around. But I'd like to see how that higher end 22 speaker Bose Performance Series audio system sounds versus this truck. Let's see how these second row captain's chairs are and see if they really are luxurious. So how is it back there? Are those chairs comfortable at all?
It's pretty comfy. There's a lot of leg room. We even have some heated seats down here. Unfortunately, no massage or ventilated seats.
Unfortunately not, as those are locked to another package that this near $10,000 truck already should have, I would say. But that other package will unlock another extra set of speakers for you, so you'll have a little more speaker comfort. But is it comfortable back there? We have this full adaptive air suspension. Does it feel any bumpy going over this, you know, more rough pavement over here?
You feel a little bit of the bumps, but I would say it soaks it up pretty well. It drives like a cloud. It's pretty smooth back here. Around the turns, you don't really feel much movement, which is a pretty good thing.
That is pretty good. And I would say it's not really bumpy. I would say most of the time, I would say over some broken pavement, you definitely could experience bumps, but it is at least quiet back there. I know it's pretty quiet up here.
Yeah, it is very quiet. One thing I wish we did have though is sunshades to block out the sun, which unfortunately it is not sunny today, but that would be a nice...
That would be a nice feature to have back there, some sunshades, especially in this high-end luxury truck. This still is one of the top in the class. You know, easy to use, I would say, infotainment system. You have a nice amount of features in here. I wish it had ambient lighting for the around 110 grand. I think that's a little bit of a letdown for this more luxury class, but you know, step up to a Cadillac for that. That's really what they're pushing still at the end of the day. This is still not a Cadillac. It's just the highest level of GMC you can get, but which is weird because you can get ambient lighting on a GMC Acadia Denali. Nonetheless, pretty cool truck. This is a nice week driving it. I love the Super Cruise, really comfortable. It feels expensive. Is it worth the extra money over going straight to an Escalade? I'm not too sure. I'm gonna have to get into the updated Escalade to really give you guys an answer on that one. But going over from the pre-facelifted Escalade and the Escalade V that we were able to drive, this is a pretty nice upgrade, especially over the pre-facelifted Yukon. I think this is an impressive upgrade, regardless of what trim, from Elevation, AT4, Denali, or Denali Ultimate. All of them are gonna get this nice, massive display, improved materials, redesigned looks. I think it's a solid facelift, and like I said, GM, you got another winner on your hands here. Thank you guys for joining me on yet another review and drive over here at Allcarnews, and as always, stay tuned for more coming soon. Cheers.